Right. Let's get started. I meant to do something. It's okay. I'll do it here. Hey, come on in. I am waiting for my guest to come on in. Today's show is going to be a little bit different. Hey, okay, she's here. Today's show is going to be a little bit different because I will be speaking to a book coach. Don't ask me what a book coach is. We are going to find out pretty soon. Let's and get started. How's everybody's weekend going? Let me know. Leave a comment. Well, it's only Friday. I guess it's just starting. Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I can't complain. It's Friday.
I love your little shirt. It looks like
Hey.
Dorothy. You have a Dorothy vibe going on.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Green is my favorite color, so I like to wear it every now and then during shows, just because it gives me that much more confidence. And so, thank you for
Nice.
saying so. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I already threw it out there. I was letting people know, today's very special. Most of the time, I'm interviewing authors. And so today, I'm speaking to a book coach. Can you tell us your name? And then tell us, what do you do?
No problem. So my name is Brittany, and I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm a book coach, which basically means that I help nonfiction authors specifically because I like to help
Okay.
people tell true stories. So I help nonfiction authors go from just an idea to a professional book with consistent sales. So basically, I'm here
Mm,
to help throughout the whole process because I know like it can be hard. Some people have no idea
yeah.
where to start sometimes.
Yeah. So like what's the whole process then? If you could be a little bit more specific, like for someone who doesn't know, first time author, they're thinking, oh, book coach, this is, kind of a first time hearing about that. What's the whole process that you go through them with?
Right. So I like to say that I offer four different services in one. So I help people with their writing. So I'm like a writing coach, a book
Okay.
editor. I help you with your self-publishing journey, and I also help you with book marketing because a lot of authors, like, they don't have the time,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes they don't have the know-how. And sometimes when you're focusing so much on writing your book, you don't have the capacity to now sit down and like switch your mindset and your focus to like think about how I can market my book. So basically, a book coach is I help you in any like stage of the book creation process that you're currently in. And so some people
Mm,
come to me with just an idea and I'm like, okay, we can work with this. And some people come to me with a full manuscript and it's like, okay, now how can we polish this and turn it into a
mm.
product that will sell and get you sales and help you build an audience?
Yeah. What do you say to the author who's just like, I just want to write my book. I don't care if I make money. Like,
That's awesome. Like I would
okay.
love to live in a world where I could do that personally as well. That was actually like my dream as a kid. I was like, I don't care about
Uh-huh.
money. I just want to write books. And that's totally fine because some people have their
Mm,
passion and you don't want to ruin it with the politics of making money, and that's awesome.
mm,
But
mm.
if you're writing a book and you want people to read it to read your message, then how can we get your book in front of people who need to hear it? And I think especially
There you
now,
go.
like there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of authors with messages that need to be heard, and sometimes that platform isn't there, and it's not fair that some people
Mm-hmm.
don't have the resources or the know-how to get their own platform going. And so I'm very much an advocate for that because I love to see diverse stories out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Oh my God, especially now. I think so many people are writing. I was just sharing, so I'm having to cut off accepting manuscripts and things like that because I'm getting flooded, and coronavirus has been so weird
So
in that way where, of course, a lot of people are at home and they're like working on their arts and stuff like that. And so I'm grateful, but at the same time, it's like,
it's a lot.
wow. I don't even know. Have you been busy lately, or how's your work level as a book coach right now?
Well, I'm finding a lot of people are getting really into writing articles. And so I've been having a lot of people reach out to
Oh,
me being
okay.
like, I'm not ready for a book yet, but I have this
Hmm.
idea for an article, something that's timely, and I want to get it out. And like, how can you help me do that? And so my
Hmm.
background, actually, I started out copywriting because I was always told
Oh
that
yeah.
authors don't make money. And I don't know why I adopted that mindset. And so I was like,
Mm,
okay, if authors don't make money, then I'll get into advertising. So
mm,
learning different ways to tell stories really got me back into my love of books. And so when I started learning about the whole process of self-publishing, I was like, oh, this relates to everything. This relates to writing
mm,
like a caption on Instagram. This relates
mm,
to writing an article, and it relates to writing a book.
mm. Yeah, talk about that. Can you talk about the connection more between those things that you just said? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a lot of people think when they're writing a book, they think, oh, it's so daunting, like it's such a large task. And
Mm-hmm.
so I go back to my mindset of like a copywriter. And if you approach each chapter, even each page, like you're writing a blog post, it kind of makes the process a little bit easier, more palatable to,
Yeah,
get
baby
through,
steps.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby steps. So I like to teach people like if you approach your writing as if you're writing like an essay or a blog post, that could help you
Mm-hmm.
work your way through your book. So you're working in like smaller increments.
Yeah, that's good. Okay,
Hmm.
let's talk about the process of self-publishing. What are the pros? What are the cons? I know we mentioned one of the biggest cons is marketing, but what are some of the plus sides to it?
So I'm really biased because I am so for self-publishing.
Mm,
When I was younger, I learned about traditional publishing as well because I wanted to get both sides. And it's totally possible to get into traditional publishing, but
mm,
what I found was, and especially working with marginalized writers, is that people didn't understand
mm,
the know-how. And so I started learning as well that you can self-publish and still go on and be traditionally published. So
yeah.
sometimes if you don't know where to start, it's like if you start with self-publishing, that could lead you to so many steps. So in
Mm,
breaking down the process, I believe it's about like 4 steps for me is how I picture it in my mind. And so you have like the creation process, which is just you writing and telling yourself
mm,
the story. I always say like the first draft is just you telling yourself the story. It makes it so much
mm,
easier. The next step would be like the polishing stage. So you want to like edit your book, you want to format it,
mm,
make sure it's ready to be out there. And then the other stuff is like finding your platform. So with self-publishing, like, are you going to go into
mm,
traditional? Are you going to go on Amazon? Like, what is your distribution plan? What is your platform? And then the last
mm,
stage is like the most important, which is the book marketing stage because you need to get your work out there. So it's in 4 steps, and I really
mm.
believe that like when people think about it in steps, it's way easier to like scale.
Yeah, yeah. And talk about that because I think a lot of self-publishers skip over that part, just the distribution of their book. They think Amazon and that's it. And it's like, wait, Amazon is not going to really like there's so many bookstores everywhere. There's bookstores at the airport, at churches,
Right.
at gift shops. Like you want to get your book out there, but how, I guess I don't know, do you have any expertise on distribution?
Right. So I think that the reason why some people might go straight to Amazon and never consider any kind of other distribution plan is because they think it's unattainable. Like, I can't get my book in a
Mm,
library. I can't get my book at
yeah.
like these huge stores. And it's like, you can totally do that. And you do it with a little bit of help, but it's totally
Hmm.
possible. And, I think, and there's so many other ways where you can get your book out there. Like, but you just have to think about where you're at currently. I think that people need to make self-publishing decisions based on what their goals are,
Mm,
and and so that also plays into your decision whether you want to go wide or if you want to go narrow. But I think
mm,
that everybody's like goal is to like get their book out there to as many eyes as you can possibly get on your book. And so if that's your
mm.
goal, then you're going to want to go with the wide distribution plan.
Yeah, yeah. That is so spot on. So definitely, if you're an author and you're listening to this live or watching the replay, take notes. It's so funny. I also have a podcast, and in the podcast, I always tell people, take notes, take notes. You're getting this free information. It's going to be up to you to put it to use. So that's amazing. So then, what are your thoughts about editing? People say do it yourself or hire an editor. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
So I believe that it also depends on your budget, right? Like I'm very
Okay.
much the person that
Mm,
says consider your budget, consider your plan, and make decisions based off that. But if I had to go with some like my choice, is I like to teach people to use their filters to edit themselves, but ultimately you're going to need
Mm,
an editor. You're going to need that person
mm,
who's outside of your mind to help you form your story. And so
mm,
there's a lot of different types of editing that you need for your book. But I think the most important one is the developmental edit. It just helps to shape things and structure things. Also, it just helps for you to consider certain things that your book might need to make it more readable and more engaging. And then after
mm,
that, you can use like, I have a program called Pro Writing Aid, and it's amazing. There's so many
mm,
great like technology out there that you can use to
mm,
edit your book, so you don't have to pay huge amounts of people to do it for you. But if you
mm.
are going to pay, I think I would pay for a developmental edit for sure.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. I know. So I'm also an author, and one of my books is being edited right now. Well, she got it back to me, and I was like, "Oh man, I thought, I'm thinking because I'm also a publisher. I'm like, oh, my stuff is good." And oh my gosh, I was like, okay, it was a very humbling experience. I'll say that. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, I need to clean it up here, and I need to clean it up there, because, like you were saying, in your mind, it makes sense. And so it's good to let somebody else see it so they can be like, no, what do you mean here? Like, clear this up.
Exactly,
As well as
exactly.
the grammar things and stuff like that. But yeah. I agree. Okay. So then let's go back and talk about marketing. Marketing is the number one challenge, I think.
Hmm.
And that's what I've been hearing across the board for authors. What's a good place to start?
So I found out that authors spend about 7.5 hours a day, or is this a day or a week?
Hmm.
A week on marketing. And out of that time marketing your book, only 8% actually see an increase. And so I spend a lot of time figuring out like why is that happening? And it's because
Hmm.
writers do not have like they just don't think about the selling part, and that's totally
Hmm.
fine because a lot of
Hmm.
people don't think about the aspect of selling. Like they think it's sleazy and I don't want to like push my book on people, and
Yeah.
and I totally understand that. And so sometimes it does make sense to hire someone to do that for you.
Hmm.
But if you do choose to go that route and do it yourself, what I've seen is a lot of authors, running to Facebook and being like, here's my book, here's my book, here's my book. And while you might
Yeah.
get a couple of sales and reviews from that, that's great. But also it's about building an audience. And so my first
Mm.
thing that I would say for people who are thinking about just doing it themselves is make sure your product pages are like sales pages. You gotta like
Mm.
think about like going onto a store and making a purchase for like a piece of clothing, right?
Mhm.
It's written in a way for you to like buy that piece of clothing. So how do you entice
Mhm.
people to buy your book? A lot of people spend a lot of time explaining like their storyline in their book descriptions, and it's like nobody wants to read that. They want to know why your book is the book they should buy.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, it's all about like making your book pages like optimized for sales. And then the next piece is making sure you build your own audience. You want to make sure to own your own readers. What happens
Mhm.
if Amazon goes down one day, right? What happens
Yeah.
if,
Oh.
when someone buys your book, right? How do you keep in touch with them to say thank you or sell your
Mhm.
next book to them? So these are things that authors
Mhm.
have to consider when they're going into their book marketing process.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. And I also, it's so funny that a lot of us struggle with that, because I found that it comes down to telling a story about your story and sharing that with others. And it's like, hold up, you're a creative. Clearly, you're a creative. You wrote and published a whole book. So now the next step is, can you tell a story about your story? Do you know your book well enough to answer questions about it?
Exactly.
How you do it? And you touched on a part that maybe we can talk about a little bit more, is just maybe being shy or humble or conditioned to believe that talking about yourself, promoting yourself is arrogant. And maybe that's where we struggle a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had to have a lot of help with that because I was always shy and quiet, and I'm from a
Mm,
Caribbean background, and so you're kind of told like kids should be spoken when spoken to, and women are
yeah.
demure, and so I adopted that identity, and so that made it hard for me to put my work out there and share my work at first, but what I can say is I've had a lot of really great mentors explain to me the importance of
Mm,
telling your story. I've been grateful enough to like exchange services with a really amazing business coach who taught me in the power of your story. And so sometimes we feel scared to share our stories because
mm,
they are maybe hard to tell, multifaceted, complex, different. And that's why I work specifically with marginalized voices and diverse stories because
mm,
I find that a lot of the authors who have these stories are like shy and scared to share them, and the
mm.
importance of sharing your story is like it makes such a difference
Yeah.
between silencing yourself and really like getting people to know you, because when people know you they buy from you. When people
Mm-hmm.
like your personality and can resonate with
Mm-hmm.
you, they buy, they listen, and they follow you and
Mm-hmm.
become super fans of your work.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. When people will give money to who they trust. It's
Right.
like, okay, I trust you. I see what you've done. I encourage people to share reviews. One of the techniques that I've been telling people, just some of the authors that I work with, is, hey, maybe consider getting some advanced reviews. Like before your book is published and released to the world, give it to maybe 20 people that will read it and say, hey, I can commit to leaving a review on Amazon when your book is released, because it's almost like a monkey see, monkey do effect.
Right.
Like, okay, if there's 20 reviews already on there on day two, the chances of someone else buying your book go up a little bit. I would think. I don't know. That's just my theory. And so,
It's totally true. It's social
yeah,
proof, right? Like no one's
yeah.
going to believe you if no one has a review saying, "Yeah, this book is great." So
Hmm.
reviews are super important. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh my God, this has been so good. Just a few minutes of some good tips. Okay. So I don't know if you've checked out any of the other episodes. I play this game. It's called
I'm
Let's
nervous.
Rhyme. It's called Let's Rhyme. Don't be nervous. And so far the score is 5-4. My guest last night, she won against me. I don't know if that'll happen again today. I'm
Let's
well
see.
rested, so we'll see. But the wheel is right here. The way it goes, for those that are new, is I'll spin the wheel. There's words on the wheel. And whatever word it stops on, we'll go back and forth rhyming with it. You can't
Okay.
repeat the word that I say, or you can't repeat the same words that you say. These words, I promise you, I have a kindergartner. They are kindergarten level. I promise you they're
Okay.
not hard.
Okay. I
Maybe
can do
first
this.
grade level even. And so we got this. I believe in you. Okay, let's see. All right, the word is time. Time.
Brine.
You said what? Prime?
No, no. I said brine. It doesn't even
Oh,
rhyme. Never
wait.
mind. I already lost, girl.
No, that's okay. That was just a practice round. Practice round.
Okay.
Practice round.
Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's try again. Let's see. Okay, and the word is later. Later. Gator.
Tomato? That's not even a word.
Come on.
I told you. I played this game before and I always lose.
No. Wait. Okay, so you can't make up your words. We're not
Okay.
rappers. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. Okay. Okay. Well, I got 1 point. 1-0 so far.
Okay.
All right. Also, audience, please feel free to drop words
I need the
in
help.
the comments and help us. All right. The word is book. Nook.
Shook.
Oh, you said shook?
Yeah.
Hook.
Look.
Uh, took.
Crook.
Oh, snook.
Nook?
Shook.
Oh, I said shook.
Did you say shook?
I said shook.
Oh, no. We have a comment that says, yes, we are rappers. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see.
This is
It's
fun.
just we're tied up right now for the tiebreaker. Oh, the word is okay. It's book again. I'm gonna spin it again. Uh, are you kidding me? It keeps stopping on these two words. Come on, give us a good one. All right, the word is wave.
Cave.
Save.
Dave.
Behave.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that was fun.
That
Again,
was
one of the
funny.
reasons why I been doing these with just the different interviews is just to lighten it
That's
up.
awesome.
I think we all need a good laugh every now and then. That's my favorite thing to do is laugh, other outside of writing and reading books and all the fun things that I like to do.
I
It's
love
just
it.
laugh. And so, thank you so much for playing with me.
No problem. That was awesome.
Is there anything else that you would like to say or share? How can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on your platform. Also, I think your energy is so bubbly and
Oh,
friendly,
thank
and like I'm
you.
so glad I found this when I can watch all your other episodes. And
Yeah.
if anybody does need help with anything, my Instagram is BrittCamBooks, and I also have a Facebook page, and it's just my name, Brittany Chung Campbell.
Wonderful. And then definitely use the little, there's like two little circles there.
Oh
Click on
yeah,
them, like, share, subscribe and stuff. So, anyways, thank you so much for staying. So, this
no
was fun.
problem.
Just for those that are watching, I'll probably be doing these until the end of the month. And then I'm going to take a break. I need to get some rest, get caught up on some stuff. So, definitely. But I think we'll have this back again. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And so, thank you so much. Have a good
No
day.
problem. You too.
Bye.